Welcome to Soul Symbol Discovery with Angela Delgler.
Well, hello and welcome to this third in the series of Soul Symbol Discovery. I'm Angela Delgler and I'm your host. So I'm going to dive straight into the screen share, assuming that you have already seen the introductory video. So here we have the card for 3, Gimel, as it's named. And this is a symbol for Gimel. And what this represents is a canal that has a material covering with a thick outer shell with energy patterns on the inside. It is open to receive anyone who wants to come in. It is a library to move into and acquire knowledge from whilst being protected. And this is why I use the image of the labyrinth in the middle. It can also act as a type of labyrinth where one becomes lost within. So anybody who carries this energy is probably well used to diving down rabbit holes and not emerging for several days as they investigate what lies down there. From the depths of this canal, knowledge, feeling, and concepts are brought forth into outer manifestation. This is another double letter, meaning it is placed on the second tier of the tree of life. So it has a certain element of power to it. It is powerful and strong. In fact, no matter where it is in someone's chart, it carries impact. This energy relates to communication and depth. As I already said, once down the rabbit hole, you won't see anybody emerge for a few days until they've explored everything they want to about that particular subject. Now, the right ear is involved with this particular element. So anybody who carries this particular energy, they may have problems in the right ear if they're avoiding facing things, but it is about becoming open to listening to others and prepared to hear. In other words, they've got to develop the flexibility to hear what the other person's saying and not to judge. Don't have to be fixated on one particular outlook or philosophy. The person with a 3 in their energies needs to be open to and absorbing differences and be able to change. In a karmic aspect, it's obviously the inability to really hear and absorb what someone is saying to you. So these people may indeed have hearing problems, but that may be self-imposed. There is a tendency to interrupt frequently as a knee-jerk reaction and to defend the old expressive philosophy. But I think those kind of situations become known by other people, and then when this person carrying the 3 is avoided because of their tendency, the lack of self-worth comes in. Bearing in mind the law of opposites mentioned previously, this double letter contains the extremes, the polarities of poverty to wealth. So that can play out quite obviously as ups and downs of fortune in somebody's life as they work through the karmic elements of this energy, whichever position it is in their chart. It is powerful as it's governed by Mars. So it's a bit like a pendulum that's swinging quite widely. There are extremes, and it's because it's driven by this Mars power. There will be extremes of each scenario, and it's like going from one pole to its complete opposite all the time until somebody has learned enough about themselves to be able to temper this wide swing and to find more balance in their life. So when out of balance, when working through the more difficult karma, ego can be a bit of an issue with these people. And as on the one end of the spectrum, you have insecurity and unworthiness. This can lead to the ego putting on an extra display. There can be a refusal to recognize the work of others, as you don't want to be seen to be wrong. You can also underestimate your own abilities. Now, this number 3 is a teaching energy. a lot of people I've seen with this particular energy, they don't appreciate that they are, in fact, natural teachers. And teaching doesn't necessarily mean standing in front of a classroom of people. It can mean that your natural job, your work, is a way of conveying or teaching to others a particular message, a particular passion that you have. So there are many ways to teach. These people who carry this energy can be failure orientated. So there's often an element of the martyr in there. And, that needs to be coaxed out. They may find it, if they're self-employed, they may find it difficult to charge for their services, and try and hide away from addressing those particular issues. They can be painfully shy. And ironically, one of the key energies is about communication. So early on in life, they may talk with a very quiet voice and avoid being heard, trying to hide away. They can really try to become invisible energetically. And so much so that as they're growing up, they might actually become frustrated that nobody notices them. So they need to consciously make themselves visible without hiding in this internal canal away from other people. But also they hide because they feel this unworthiness of God. They may actually have sexual blockages, and they don't necessarily know what they feel. So one of the things is it takes them a long time to draw out the feelings from the deepest core of this canal. And when eventually they do draw these energies out, it's difficult to express them. So you can imagine going from the early painful days, for instance, of teenage years, where everything is felt much more intensely, and then following that on with several decades of trying to draw out, being more outgoing, feeling more self-worth. This is a very slow process. It can feel painful, but it can be done step by slow step. Now, in the talent area, these people are very good at coming up with original ideas, and usually from observing or feeling a process within themselves. And they have the ability to bring these concepts into reality. So they're very creative as well as intuitive. And they can communicate quite easily through the written word, or they might be an actor or actress, or sing. They really enjoy singing. And but there will definitely be some sort of drive towards becoming some sort of teacher and to make more money. In the spiritual goals position or the soul destiny, it can be this drive to become a very powerful and catalytic spiritual teacher. So in terms of what can we do to heal someone with the three energies, especially if they have more than one presence of this in their chart, they need to be really coaxed to express their feelings whenever they can. And by doing that, movement starts to occur within the deeper levels of this inner canal. And they start to draw out the deeper layers of their feelings. And by doing so, they get to know themselves more. They literally need to express their way through the communication blockage, because there always is a blockage in here. So it's a bit like chipping down into a rock face, or an underground coal mine. It's a slow process. And when they begin to feel their emotions, rather than feeling afraid of a torrent, they can be then encouraged to continue with that and learn to understand that their feelings will emerge more slowly than they perhaps do for others. One of the really important ways forward for these people, especially if they work for themselves, is to rebuild their self-worth. And this can be done through various healing modalities. But what they seek, of course, really deep down, is to be loved. And this needs to be done in conjunction with them experimenting with expressing themselves. So relationships need to be entered into carefully. And also, they need to go into things eyes open rather than idealistically. Activities like performing musically, dancing, drama, art, writing, acting even. These are, while they may be challenging at first, they're actually very good for drawing them through the shyness and lack of self-worth into a more natural way of expressing themselves. And eventually they will start to sit more comfortably within their skin. Money issues can be addressed by actually making someone with this energy start making a list, being more conscious, having a spreadsheet, for instance, of their expenditures, and start to really take note of what they're spending, so that they become more familiar with the reality of what's happening within their financial world. And one last thing is that this is about the ear, the right ear. So if somebody is blocking what you're saying to them in the right ear, try and speak to the left ear, so that what is being said is actually absorbed a lot better than the energetically deaf right ear. So there you have the energies of the 3 Gimel, and you can find more information under the services tab of my website at angeladelglyn.com, and you can follow me in subsequent videos. But that's all for today. Bye for now.